Welcome back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast, Supercoach edition. Keen as to get into this one. That's our round 24 Supercoach review, round review. You seem to be loving it, so we're going to keep it going. And obviously, a lot happened on the weekend. It was week 2 of finals for both drafts. Shout out to Alan. We got the inaugural League of Inches draft, so big results there. One of the top dogs got eliminated, so you never want to go out in straight sets, which unfortunately did happen. A few of us are draft kings and are still going strong in it, so that's fine. A couple of big comps going as well, able to scrape through and get some very, very good head-to-head wins, which I'm very, very pleased about. But we've got the full house here tonight. I've got Jesse, and I've got It's Okay If You Disagree With Me tonight. So shout out to the newcomer. We'll go to him first. How's things? It's okay if you disagree with me. And if you'll know that podcast listeners, if you quickly go over to the YouTube account, you'll see his screen. You'll understand what he's talking about here.
Oh, mate, I can't force you to be right, so it's all right. I'm going well, mate. Had a good weekend. Beautiful weather up here in Queensland the last couple of days. Yeah, going well.
Shorts
Keen to
and a
get back
t-shirt.
into it. Missed you, yeah, pretty much. Missed you guys last week, but good pod and ready to hit the ground running again this week.
Mate, we missed you as well, so I'm glad we somehow managed it to do you proud. I was very, very nervous last week, I'll tell you that much. Jesse, it's good to be back, I guess, with you. It's been a great year, Supercoach wise. Still got a few weeks to go, but how's things with you?
Yeah, no, not too bad. It's it's a home stretch now, really, isn't it? It's week by week for the head-to-heads. Like if you're able to get a win last week and push yourself through, and Jesus, there's only 2 more left, really, isn't it, for the head-to-heads? And it's pretty much it. It's kind of all over from there, and we just got to. I don't know. It's almost bittersweet. It's been a big Supercoach year, and it's come to an end. I kind of want it to end in a way that I'm like, shit, what am I going to be doing with my time now? Looking at this stupid app, but had a good week.
Fantasy NFL, fantasy NBA. Here we go.
Fantasy FPL. Got my draft on.
I refuse to go on any of that because I do need the break. I just need a few months to just relax and then wait till they update and give us all that little few months we get to play around with teams and act like we all know what's going to happen and predict what coaches can do, even though they are absolutely mad scientists and I don't think they know what they're doing half the time. So I'm happy with the break and I will not be getting myself into any of those BBL things or soccer. So stop asking me, please, guys, because I just will not. I need my family needs the break. I'll tell you that. I've never refreshed a Supercoach app more in my life than the weekend. There was times I was freaking out. Anyway, well, let's talk about the scores this week. Jesse, I'll start with you. I'll go around the circle. Let us know, how did you score on the weekend? How did your wins with head-to-head and that go? How did your Supercoach week go overall?
Overall it actually went really well. It sort of picked up towards the end too. I didn't have as many players playing early as some of the big guys did. I didn't have Val Holmes or Dom Young, so I was seeing these massive inflated scores, and mine was kind of dragging behind because I just didn't have them, and I was panicking a little bit because I thought, geez, they're going to get away from me very quickly. But it didn't seem to matter. I scored 1453 without him, so no turbo either. Like, I'm actually pretty surprised it ended up being so high, considering I didn't have the 3 of them. But Karaz obviously come good, and he's been good forever, really. He's a weapon. Captain Teddy. It was just good scores all around. I don't think I really had anyone that kind of shit the bed at all, where it brought it all down. So it was a good week. I won 2 out of the 3 main head-to-heads that I'm in. The Creators Cup, I got a win. The Podmasters Seed 1, I got a pretty decent win. It wasn't really close in that one. In the Podmaster overall group, I did lose to Tommy Sangster by 2 points with the rescores. It didn't really get me there, so it was a bit of heartbreak. That one was very, very close. But my drafts, I was out of the League of Inches this week. I got a week off because I beat you last round.
Sorry, we didn't quite hear you. That just keep going.
Sorry. Oh yeah,
we didn't quite hear that. So just keep going.
Yeah, I put you to the sword in the first knockouts, but that's fine. And then in my Gidley draft, I got a very, very pretty convincing win actually towards the end. I had about 7 tries get put on him, so Yeah, it was very solid. I've got Karaz and Dom Young and Saab in that one, so they were all three center wings just went nuts. So yeah, it was a good round. Overall, I wish I got the Podmasters win, but can't win them all.
Well,
Focus
I'm
on
going
the
to
other
call you
four.
out a little bit here. We're going to get fired up straight away. You reckon not having those big three didn't hurt you? It clearly did because you lost to Tommy Sangster in one. So it hurt you. Because if you had one of them, you would have gone through.
True.
So, mate, be honest with yourself. It's okay to admit you stuffed up once.
Yeah,
You're
I should
human.
have traded. I should have used my last trade and just got.
Oh, see? No,
in.
the ball factor. Having tiny balls, you'll get that.
Now I've got one to sort out Cleary. So it all works out.
I could not. We'll talk about that soon. I could not hit reverse trades quick enough when that happened. I was freaking out. I was wondering, can I get out of this, please? Look, it's okay if you disagree with me. How did you score on the weekend? Head-to-heads and all that as well.
I got 1,297. I dropped 761 spots. I'm into 11,639. I lost one of my league wins and won one of my league wins. So one of my leagues. So yeah, I'm just in a couple of cashies with some mates. That's all for me with my leagues. That I'm not in any of those big groups or anything this year. I didn't do any of that. And a few overalls in some of the pod groups and that I listen to. How'd my team go? So I am a very happy benched Marnie owner, so that was good. Played Reece Robson, so he came up as my hookers. I sat Katoa, as I said to everybody. Make sure you listen to me. Don't do as I do. Just do as I say. However, I was thinking about this. Based off the matchups, I was always going to play Olakau'atu against the Warriors. I was always going to play Nikria. I was always going to play Plath off the way that he's been playing. And so they were my three on the field. I had the R already on Crichton against Para for the night. And then based off matchups, and then my other reserves I played was Sam Walker, Jaden Campbell, Kalen Ponga, and Crichton. So based off matchups, I feel like I made a good decision by not playing Katoa. It just worked out that Katoa ended up being in the right place at the right time for 2 tries. And literally that was all he did for the game. So I was pretty, whilst I'm disappointed, and I'm not disappointed either, I feel like I still made a good decision. Just I lost a couple of points there. And I don't really know who I would have benched anyways out of everyone. I'm still a Dill Brown owner, so have been a happy Dill Brown owner the last 3 weeks since we all talked about whether we should trade him or not. Pumping out 90s and things, but got a 36. So there's my 2 that cost me some pretty dear points and got me to that 1296. But in comparison, I got, what did I get? 1,383 last week and rose to 2,800 spots. This week I get less than 100 points than what I got last week and dropped 700 spots. So in comparison to the weeks, it's interesting how it all works out. And I'm learning all that. It's fun to play with all the maths around it all.
I think you were very, very smart last week in terms of the Roosters factor. A lot of people had a lot of Roosters in their team and got heavily impacted, and you prior planning, obviously, and paid off a lot for you. So unfortunate for this week, but as you said, it's still a very respectable score, I feel like. So even though you did lose a couple of rankings, but hopefully you can climb back. I'm happy that I've still got you. So I just don't want to finish last between us 3. I don't want to have that on my shoulders or hanging over my head for the off season. Just have that on me. But for me, look, are you not entertained? I've told you I'm back, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers out there, I'm back. Supercoach God's back, the king. Give him my crown. This is 2 out of 3 weeks where I've top scored these bums, pulling their pants down at the moment. So 1,480 this week. In the top 2K ranks for the scored alone. Like, honestly, I'm doing that's why I got the haircut. I just want to really just look the part. So I rose up 1,700 odd spots up to 8,038 my rank now. Won all my head-to-head, so all you guys, A few of the comps had a week off because I won last week. I don't know how because I scored horribly, but then this week I won them all. And draft I won as well. So I keep going with the old League of Inches draft. But winners win, baby. That's all I'll say. Winners win. And when you got the big kahunas, it pays off. So I'm happy to be a winner.
And then you said you reverse trades fast enough, trying to panic.
I only
Oh my
reversed
god!
one.
Oh, I've lost Cleary. I've lost Cleary. Help me! Whoa! What
I
rank are you
reversed
again?
one.
8,000 something.
8,038.
2,122.
Mate, it's not about
Killing
that.
it.
It's about having the big
It is.
kahunas
It is
and
about
being the winner of the round. Like that's 2 out of 3 weeks where I've just smoked you.
Yeah, and it's
Smoked
probably I'm the winner of the last 23 rounds.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Hey,
It's all right.
no one remembers that. No one thinks about the past. It's about the present. So we're all good. We're all good. I'm just talk amongst yourselves while I bring up the game so we can get stuck into it. If you want to have any quick tips, boys, just quickly talk to me. Ask me a quick question while I bring it up, and I can give you my wisdom.
All right. Well, what are your plans for draft this week? I'm curious because you've got 2 Cowboys out, and the big dog himself, top of the draft, is going to go plummeting this round. And I actually can't wait for next week's potty when you're sitting there crying about your resounding losses.
It'll be Jesse. It'll be
so
2 out.
good.
It'll be 2 out of 4 where he walks with his pants down under his ankles and he's bent over, touching the floor.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he
I
wants to
can't wait for
talk
it.
2 out of 3 where he's beaten us, but he'll forget that there's 2 out of 4 he'll have been smoked.
True.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm pretty worried about this weekend's drafting. I've had these Cowboys for a long time now. We're talking Val Holmes, Scotty Drinkwater. Got them 1-2 in my draft at the start of the year, and then I quickly realised that the draw that their bye played into the major semi-final week for drafts, so for our draft anyway, and that kind of was a bummer. And I've tried to get rid of one of them for about 10 weeks now, and no one wanted a bar of them. So even the bums that down near the bottom that had no chance of making finals didn't want to do anything with me. So that it is what it is. I've tried to plan a little bit. As I said, I've picked up Lehigh Hopewadi last week, who can play fullback. So I've got coverage there. Hopefully, Ero's back this week. So the few players I'm hoping can just fit the bill and can just get us 80 odd. Get me something, boys. And I'm very, very happy. We're not a captain's league, so just get me some scores up there, and I reckon I can still manage something. But I tell you what, who am I up against? Zach, am I? I'm up against Zach, aren't I? Yeah, he's got we looked at that team before. He's got a very good team. So, and we keep talking about it. It's going to expand next year, guys. So I'm so keen to get this up and running and talk more. I'm actually very keen for this season to end just because I want to get into planning for next year's stuff. It's going to be very, very exciting. But anyway, this week's games. The first up, Melbourne Storm, 2 good for the Penrith Panthers. Trav is one happy Melbourne fan. That was a great win, 24-22. Obviously, the huge talking point here, and we'll probably have to chat about it now. I know we do the tradies, but it is that big of a talking point. We probably have to discuss it now as well. The Nathan Cleary injury, obviously that meant he only got a 61, which he was injured with, 30 minutes to go or something. I'll take a 61. That's still a decent score. He was on track to maybe getting that 100 mark. So he was involved with everything. He was playing very good. I thought he was a standout while he was on the park and got injured. A few of the bigger scores as well, like McLean, there was a week there I thought he wouldn't score that well, and he had the second top score of the match. So started my bench, didn't get a start, and I missed out on 87 points. Lindsay Smith, 91. Katoa, 86 for the Storm. Ever Mr. Consistent. Yo as well, we've spoken about him a few times, 86, and Dylan Edwards, an 84. But we'll talk about those scores in a second, and maybe we'll touch on Dylan Edwards as well, because that's a big talking point now that Cleary's out, and we've seen what he can score when Cleary's not around. But what are we thinking, boys? The Nathan Cleary factor. I know there's a lot of teams out that have no trades left. They're stuck, unfortunately. We've all got at least one. So I've got one, and I believe you both have one as well. Is that right?
Just one.
We've all only got one, which it'd be interesting how we attack it. Trav, how are you feeling with the Cleary injury and your early sort of ideas or plans around Nathan Cleary?
My thoughts are it's annoying, but it's not doom and gloom. If you've got no trades, you've also got you should have two halfbacks, so you can just bench him. You should be right, and then hopefully you've got depth there for else. So it's not doom and gloom. Which segues nicely to my thoughts of I'm actually thinking at this point in time of holding my trade and not trading Cleary and just benching him and using my trade for other spots because I'm weighing it up. Do I really think I've already got Walker because my trade last week was Hughes to Walker. Wish I didn't do that now, but I did. And so I'm comfortable with the Walker trade. The only other option I thought that might be as just a pure halfback would be DCE. And he's been brilliant. But again, it's like 60 to 70 as pretty much consistently what he's going to get. And it's not big numbers for me. And I'm trying to think of where I could get those big numbers elsewhere. And I think I've got the depth elsewhere to get those big numbers. So I think I'm happy just to bench Cleary and save that one trade for if a fullback, like if God forbid something happens to Ponga or Turbo, I can use that trade there or in the front row forward. So I don't have to bloody play Sam Hughes. So, yeah, my initial thoughts at this point is based off some of my maths that I've been doing over the last couple of days is to hold Cleary because I just don't reckon any of those guys that you're going to trade him to are going to outweigh anything that I've already got. So, yeah. Now, it would be a different story if it was like I was going to a Hines or someone with big scoring potential. That would be a different story. But I just think that the guys that we're getting or potentially getting are just going to be those 60, 70s and don't really have huge upside. I mean, and you can play with your jewels and potentially look at like a Burton as well. But, I mean, he's also a halfback too. But, yeah, so, yeah, I don't see any big upside. So I'm at this point in time, as I said, I'm probably going to hold it.
Jesse, what are your thoughts around it?
Yeah, it's not what I expected to be using my last trade on. I don't really have that much depth like Trav's got. Like his team's pretty stacked. He had the issue of the dilemma of having to sit Katoa, where I was very, very comfortably, happily playing Katoa last week. I didn't even consider the thought of benching him. So I'm probably 2 or 3 players down on depth where I'd like to be. So yeah, Cleary out's definitely a trade in my opinion. And I don't have Sam Walker, so it's pretty easy. I think Sam Walker will be the play. I just like the run too, like the Titans, the Raiders, and then ending with the Rabbits. Like it's massive. I have tossed up the Cherry Evans play as well. I don't think it's as nice as the Roosters run because they play the Dogs. And I've also considered Luai because Penrith have a good run, and Luai was fantastic with Cleary out of the side. So it'll be one of the 3. I would say if it was like a power ranking thing at the moment for the last 3 games, I would be going Walker, maybe Luai, and then Cherry Evans. Luai really just for that pod, real massive pod, because everyone's going to be flocking to the other 2.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'll do it. I don't think I've got the balls to do that, just because the floor is so much lower. And
we know that.
Yeah, well, we've been speaking about it for a month. I think, yeah, I'm pretty happy to go Cleary to Sam Walker. I said it last week too. So, yeah, I think that'll be the go, but it's not great.
Can I hit a nail on the head here? Because I hate the Luai pod play. I reckon he is absolute guarantee to be rested one of these final weeks. He's a guarantee now that Cleary's out. He will not want to risk having both Luai and Cleary with injuries heading into finals. So I reckon he's a shoo-in to be one of the first rested when Ivan always does. Now, they're sort of sitting in no man's land. The Roosters won't catch him. They'll get the win.
Oh, they're only
this
one
weekend.
game behind.
Yeah, but I think they'll keep
the
winning.
Roosters and the Shark are both 34. They're only one game behind. They haven't locked that second spot up yet.
Yeah.
I still just
and
think
they're
expecting play the long game.
They're expecting Cleary to be back for finals. So if they can just make it to the finals, I don't think Luai really gets rest.
I think he will.
Make a good point.
Yeah, I like the point too, but they're not a shoe-in to to win these games. Like they've got the Raiders this week at home. So sorry, in Canberra. They should win, but that's not a guarantee win.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you look at the Sharks, because that's who's fighting, they've got the Dragons. So it comes up as if the Sharks lose against the Dragons and the Bulldogs, who play the Warriors over in New Zealand. So this weekend's going to be a really big factor as to whether you think Luai is going to sit out or not. They haven't locked away that second spot, but I mean, it's a good point to think of.
I reckon being fair income, they'll beat either South or the Titans, which is their last 2 games, with their reserve grade team at the moment, because those 2 other clubs are packing their bags for Bali already. They don't want to be in this competition anymore. So
Monday,
I feel like they could walk it in. That's my prediction. I just feel like Luai's too much of a risk. I think he always rests, especially those Origin players. Every year for the last 3 years now, he's done it, and it's worked for him an absolute treat. So why would you mess up a winning formula, I guess? And I just feel like that Cleary injury just scares the camp a bit, and they won't want to risk too much. My thoughts, I think I am obviously a Cleary owner. I do have Hughes at the moment as well. And then my reverse trade on the weekend was for Campbell, who stayed in my team and luckily got that try. I was thinking, thank you very much for that one. And I think I've got Jai Gray in my 5/8 as well. So I don't actually have a second halfback I can jump up into that slot. But for mine, Sam Walker is my number 1, but I've actually got Matty Burton as my number 2. I've really got a huge temptation on Matt Burton at the moment. I've got a huge temptation. I don't know what I feel like I shouldn't, but I do. I just feel like being a little bit of a point of difference, because I reckon like it's going to be record trades. Cleary to Sam Walker this week is going to be probably one of the most traded of all year in Supercoach. It's just going to be ridiculous for those that have trades left. So do I want to try and climb those ranks just that bit more further, or do I want to stick with everyone? I don't know. I'm prepared to potentially go on a limb and favour Matty Burton.
Their run's not as easy as the other ones, and I don't think his ceiling's as high. Like, I really like Burton. I like what the Dogs are doing, especially going into the finals. But, man, if you've got the Roosters firing as good as they are against, bottom dwellers, I wouldn't choose Burton playing the Warriors, Manly, and the Cowboys in the last 3 when all of them are fighting for, they're all in the 8. Well, Warriors aren't, but I don't think they are. But at least Manly and the Cowboys, they're fighting for a good spot. Like, they're still well in contention for a decent finish on the ladder. They're not easy games for the Dogs.
I think Walker's a pretty safe bet as well, because he won't get rested. I don't think they'll be resting any of the Roosters players for this run home. No. That's why I think having Tedesco is such a good fullback choice, and probably the best fullback choice at the moment. So,
yeah, but no, it'll be it's going to be pretty wild for I suppose by Wednesday when we do tradies, it'll be a bit more accurate. But yeah,
it's going to be big because the tradie show is going to be huge, especially. Hope we can get 3 of us on again, if not be you 2 boys, but there's already some whispers around about players being out and stuff for this week. So it's going to be a huge team list. Everyone will listen to this probably on the day. So we're waiting just hours by now when you've listened to this show, and it's a huge team list coming up. I'm very, very anxious in a way to see what is going to happen and what carnage is going to unfold to destroy semi-finals Supercoach. Anything else to touch on in this game, boys? Obviously, Cleary was huge, talking point. Supercoach wise, but McLean was huge for those that played him. Well done. I just got scared because of the storm factor, so I didn't play him. Dylan Edwards, I think it's a good point to probably talk on one more time, and we've seen how good he scores when Cleary's on around. He came back and got an 84 with Cleary there for 50 minutes, so something was working quite right for him. And then since Cleary went off, it basically was the Melbourne Storm took over that game. So decent score for Edwards coming back from injury. Like you'd be very, very happy if you had him for some reason, if you were stuck with him, or because he was only a late in as well. So I'd be very surprised if anyone traded him in last week. But Trav, what are your thoughts? Dylan Edwards, many people don't have any trades or much at all. So I don't know if he's up there, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he's definitely an option if you've got trades. I'd be looking at getting him in. I think the Cleary injury has shown exactly what we spoke about for weeks on end about how good he is. We just didn't do it because of the origin factor, the buy factor, and the fact that Cleary was coming back. He was a good trade out. I'd love that. If you've got the kahunas to go and get him and the trades to do it, he's a wonderful option. Just remember that Cleary played 66 minutes, so he didn't play the last 14. So it's I'd bear that in mind if you want to know exact numbers. But 84 from Edwards in that game against the Storm is an amazing effort. Now it's only going to get bigger, and he'll be kicking. So you look at that 84 and add another almost 15, 20 points just through kicking points. So I think he's a wonderful option if you can get him.
Yeah, they've got a good run, and as you said, that kicking can also be a huge. I'll go out there and say it now. I reckon Edwards will score more than Kalen Ponga scores to run home. So make of that what you will, but I actually think Edwards would be a huge. I can by now he's a pod as well. So that's another sort of way to look at it for those players that want to try and make up some ground. And you get finding most players have so many. There's a lot of the similar teams out there now, just maybe playing him a bit differently, and that could be a way to get up the ranks a bit. Jesse, I won't ask you about Edwards because I reckon you probably give the same sort of answer. I'll ask you about a Storm player quickly before we move on. Munster looked very good on the weekend in terms of just his footballing side of things. Got a 59, so he got above what he was predicted to score. So you'll take that as an owner, probably against the Penrith Panthers as well, which everyone's notorious for not scoring well in a Supercoach point of view. But he looked busy. He looked like he probably the freest he's been since this injury's happened to him, and it was probably the closest to the Munster of old that we've seen. Now, my reason why I'm not going to go out there and say look at getting him is because I have no doubt in my mind he will have a rest before finals. So that's a pain, but it's good to see him back. And if you do have him, then I'll let you're playing him the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think if you've got him, you're definitely playing him. I don't think there's ever a week you sit him out. Definitely not. The closer you get to these last weeks too, now that Melbourne's definitely sort of locked that position away, I would be more inclined to say he does definitely get a rest out of it. If they lost against Penrith and they had more of a push to come first, maybe,
Especially with Wishart's form.
Yeah, well, Wishart plays 20 minutes and he outscores all of them. And he's done it for 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, it's a bit of a headache because what do you do with Wishart? Like, he's not scoring bad enough to get rid of. I suppose at this point of the year, if you've got trades, it might be worth it. But he plays very limited minutes and comes on. It's all impact. So he's doing good stuff. He's doing really good stuff. But I just think now there might be more of a chance for Wishart, even still. They've sort of locked it up. People can start taking a rest now. People can have a week off. But I wouldn't trade him in, unfortunately. Not now.
Trav, do you have anything you want to quickly touch on with your Melbourne Storm? I know you're very happy with the win. You're going to quickly gloat. Go for it. I'll give you permission. And then anything else you want to touch on the Supercoach point of view?
No, I'll do the gloating when it matters at the end of the year once we've got the premiership. But I think you touched on a really good point with this, what the Storm do. And again, it's something we've said lots, is that we think the Storm were going to rest anyways. They were going to do it probably around 26 is probably the week they were going to, which is why last week I said, and so did you, Jesse, about wanting to trade out Hughes and going to Walker. And that's why I did that. I went that. And then with the matchup against Penrith, the potential for a 40 or 50. I mean, he puts out a 64, but he had to step up when Munster went down and had to sort of step up right at the end there to try and lock away the win, which he was good for. He's hobbling. He's lame a little bit. So I think if you're a Wishart owner, you're hoping for those things because Wishart won't get rested. So I think bear that in mind with that. I've look, to be honest, I've said not to get Munster since he came back. I love him, but I don't think he was going to ever really do much for you Supercoach wise, and he hasn't really done that at the moment. So I'd be quite fearful of Munster, in particular over the next 3 weeks, because I don't think look, yes, he's missed a lot of the year, but he's also pretty injured and he's Munster. And he just showed, like, really the last few weeks, he's just done what he's had to do to get some minutes in his legs and play and make sure we, are competitive or win games. And then he comes up against Penrith. And as you said, he had a really good game. The only thing that stopped him really was Nas giving him a roundhouse to the nose. And that was the only thing that really stopped him. So, but yet he only scores 59. So, yeah, I'd be mindful. I don't think he is a must play over the next few weeks because I think he'll probably play maybe 40 or 50 and sit out and Wishart will come on. So, I'd just bear those factors.
One other thing before we get on to the next game, I just got a fun little thing here, just real quick. Just check Dylan Edwards' ownership in the top 10%. Have a guess.
5%.
No, it'd be like under 1%.
It's not far. It's 1.3%. It's 204 people in the top 16,000.
He would
Are you tempted? Are you tempted?
Push.
I can't get to him. I am very tempted. I would get Edwards in before I got another half for Cleary. If I had to use that one trade more, I think
if you had Walker as your other option, I think that's a no-brainer. I love that.
Yeah, unfortunately,
off you go, Trav. There's your
77k too short, so it was never going to happen.
Because I've got Ponga and Turbo, John.
I've got Teddy and Turbo. I can't.
No, neither, and I can't either.
I've got Teddy and Ponga, so we've all got some different combination of the three. How good's that?
I reckon if you're a Ponga owner, I'd be tempted having Ponga.
Oh, if I had an extra 150k in another trade, I would 100% be. But
anyway, that's a good one to talk about. Oh, look out. Anyway, next game, we spent a lot of time in that game. We'll probably go through some of these a lot quicker because some of these teams just have no existence for us at the moment. So that game obviously was chock full of stars. So that's why we spent a bit more time on it. Manly 24, too good for the Wars 10. The big scorers here, Tommy Trebojevic, my captain for the week, 105. Very nervous when I seen Teddy going off and I couldn't decide between them, but I'll take the 105 that he got. Aiden Fanua-Blake came through with the goods finally, an 80, so just back to his stock standard points that he gets to do on a week that I really needed it, so thank you. Saab an 88 and Nickel Clockstad an 80. So there are a few of the standouts for this one. Jesse, talk to us about this game if there anything that you want to touch on. Olaquatu, obviously 47 as well.
Yeah, a little disappointing from Olaquatu, but the Manly boys, they just keep doing it. It's a very predictable top pack. Turbo's killing it. I'm very happy with the 105, even captained. You take that. It's pretty good. Fanua-Blake as well. As far as their ownership goes, they're very heavily owned, the pair of them. So you're getting good return out of both, but so is everyone. 88 from Saab is massive. He's actually been in really good form. I picked him up in a draft a couple of weeks ago, and he's been fantastic. So very good. C&K comes good. Cherry Evans 73. There are a lot of just middling scores that are not terrible, but they're not tons. They're just kind of getting by. So I'd be the only scores honestly out of everyone there that's disappointing realistically for ownership wise be Olaquatu and Barnett for his price. They're both quite poor, 45 and 47, but I wouldn't be disappointed with literally any other score above that. They're all pretty good. Trav,
what do you got for us?
No, I was going to say the same thing, but just the last point that Jesse said about Barnett and Olaquatu, as I said at the start, I was always going to play Olaquatu against the Warriors. So I'm disappointed in that 47. You'd be a disappointed Barnett owner with that 45. But, I mean, they got pretty clearly outplayed. They lost 24-10, but Manly were pretty comfortable all game. And as you said, that 105 for Turbo's captain, I'll take that every day. If I was a Teddy owner, for those people who stuck fat and kept him like that as a captain, that was a great choice. But, if that was me, I would have actually taken it off him watching that weather come over and with that rain that was coming through, I would have taken it off him. And it still worked out to be all right for you. But lucky I'm not a Teddy owner, so I don't have to make that option. But yeah, I'll take that 105 from Turbo.
Yeah, it's so stressful being a Teddy owner. I'll tell you what, it's done me all year. I tell you, with the turbo score as well, that could have easily. I was watching that game, especially that first half. Manly bombed some tries and line breaks and stuff. His score could have easily been upwards of 150 plus. So
yeah,
that was extremely frustrating to have to see on him. And there was just so many times where he would have just strolled over untouched and just unfortunately didn't.
Hey, just quick point. Wouldn't you love to be a DWZ owner?
It's not worth it. No. It's a lot of stress for a 73. It's not worth it.
Oh, goodness me. Hey,
But
that's
he
a lot
has-
better than I thought he'd go.
Well, I traded him out last week and he scored 30. And I got Lomax in, so I was very happy doing that.
Oh,
And then this
take
week,
that.
Lomax still outscored him, so I'm still happy with it. He's still on
Take
my no-go
that.
list. He's on the hit list.
Trav mentioned the star of the show in this game, the Roosters 38 to Parramatta 14 in a game that was played in a child's pool. It's fair to say, just they could not train this. You'd think a state-of-the-art facility would have some drainage in it, and it's probably the thing they've forgotten about. It's this whole big budget, and they've got to do the plumbing. So well done. Shout out to you. But Dom Young, 128. Tedesco, 125. Manu came back with an 81. And Brandon Smith, a nice little 79 for anyone out there that was a Brandon Smith owner. It's a nice score from Brandon. You can start us off on this one. Trav, you already mentioned Teddy. You can obviously have a shout out to your man, Dom Young, as well.
Yeah, I'm a very stoked Dom Young owner. Kept him along. I did actually say, as lots of us did a few weeks ago, that he was a good trade out option too. So, but I ended up keeping him because I had other things I wanted to do. So yeah, very happy with that. He put up 3 tries. So golden. Perma captain Teddy, just stick the C on him and don't even think anything else otherwise now. Stay with Teddy based on all the matchups and where they're going. That how good was that Manu 81? Really sort of put on for all those people that got him back after the bye, and I think that was a really good pick. We also said it was good. Brandon Smith, I reckon, played his best game for the year, for sure. A bit disappointed, but not. I thought Crichton would have got more than 57 based off what I was watching and how the runs and what he was playing at. But so that 57 was a little bit disappointing. But you're playing him against Para, so even in that weather. I'm a bit disappointed in that 52 from Walker and thought that might have been a really good play for me with a comfortable 100 or so. Watch all the Hughes owners and the like, get a 50, 60 and I'm up 40 when you all flock to Walker this week, but it didn't work as planned with that. Bear, for those that are still holding Terrell May, he got 43. So I think just bear that in mind. And then having a look over for the Parrot, I think the Cardi party with a 48, that's disappointing. He was horrible, I thought. He was, his effort and some of the on the lines and what the hell was he doing on that when he pulled off? He pulled off in Gowie off the tackle and then bloody, what's his name, ran straight through him like on the line. What the hell was he doing?
Back to the old Cardi.
What was he doing? That was just dumb. Oh, man, even I'm sitting there saying it. And I'm really disappointed in that 36 from Dale Brown, but like they just got belted by the Roosters. So, and as I said, I'm a happy owner of Brown. I kept him, took that risk, and he's paid off with 90, a 69, a 50, like he's paid off. So that was an annoying 38.
Anything else to add there, Jesse? You're a massive Roosters fan, obviously, so well done. You got the League of Inches Cup this week, so
thank you,
work.
mate. Yeah, celebrations are in order. No, never in doubt. Trav kind of covered all the good players. It was a solid score. I kind of expected as much anyway against the Eels. The only one, again, the two that didn't score as well as I'd expected were Crichton and Walker, but even still, a 52 and a 57. It's not Connor Watson levels. It's not a 10. So that's going to hurt. There's a lot of people there that did bring Connor Watson in, so that's a bit of a stinger. I don't think he'll be in this week. And even Talangi as well, 16. Like there's some really low scores getting about, so it kind of kills him. But Dillbag's worst score of the year, I think, isn't it? He's been one score under 50
Yeah.
all year outside of that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, so look, they're consistent for a reason. Like, he's good. It's just the Roosters. You can't expect it. But this run for the Eels is the reason why I got off him. I just didn't like what was coming up. And I think if I'd done the math now from when I traded Brown over Galvin, I think Galvin's outscored Dylan Brown in the last 3 weeks. So this one helps,
Mate,
obviously,
you're
at
not
30.
Nostradamus. Honestly, give us the lotto numbers. You're that
well,
good at predicting
mate.
stuff. It's unbelievable.
I'll give you one. 7.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you.
You just fill the
I'd
rest
normally
in.
go 1, but that's me.
Yeah. And I think, Terrell May's 43 is pretty good. Like, I plan on playing him the last week when Fanua Blake's out, but probably not any rounds in between then. But if he keeps chipping away 40s and that kind of thing, like, you just keep him. I suppose business end now. You're not going to trade him.
That's what I said. I'm not fiddling around with my front rows. I'm just going to keep him and Sam Hughes and AFB, and they can just do the damage for me this year. So that's it. I'm going for the big dogs, and that's helped me so far. My big balls. Now the doggies are having another party. They just party every weekend at the moment. 30 points to 10 against the Dolphins. King Karaz 121. That's all I'm going to talk about here. King Karaz. Jesse, talk to us about your self-confessed boy, the king himself. Well, there's
But
two
he's good.
kings. If the king gets dethroned, he's the step-up king. Obviously, the main king is Gutho, and then it comes to King Karaz.
I think Gutho's self-proclaimed King Gutho, which is a little bit embarrassing on that side, but everyone can collectively say Karaz is the GOAT this year, and he's truly the king, undisputed. 121, man. Just keeps doing it. Such a gun. I don't know. You can't speak highly enough of him. And you know what? He's 739. Find a way if you don't have him already. Get him in. It's crazy. He's not even owned by 20% of the overall teams too. I'd imagine the top 10% pretty much all have him, or at least half will by now. But Jesus, he's been so good, man. Last 5-round average of 87.5. There's no stopping him.
Man.
You know who has been really good?
Oh, go.
Sorry, Connor Tracy. You were so off him a few weeks ago as well after he had that massive score and people were mass trading him. And you know what? Since then, he's actually been doing very well. He's been so good. But sorry, you were going to say something on Karaz.
I was just going to say 27 runs, 297 meters, 2 tries, 4 tackle busts, 2 line breaks. Like, that's sick.
He's a beast.
Madness.
He's a beast.
What an animal.
Yeah. Absolute monster. Wouldn't call him the GOAT this year. Maybe the best centre winger this year, but not the GOAT.
For Supercoach, centre wingers.
Yeah, so you called him the GOAT. I'd say he's the best centre winger, but I wouldn't say he's the GOAT of the year.
Ooh.
I would.
Oh, I'm locking Teddy in that. That's Teddy's crown.
Oh, look out. Yeah. Teddy's could be on for a few awards at the end of the year, I tell you.
Well, it's pretty wild. I suppose numbers-wise, average, Teddy, for sure. He's also played less games than Karaz has. Drinkwater's still top of the table. Unspoken. No, good.
Well, there we go. Matty Burton is 72. You boys aren't that keen on Matty Burton, so no need to talk about him. It's all good.
It's the upside. I'm
Upside.
keen on him, but it's the upside that I just don't think it's worth. For me, it's not worth trading Cleary to. I'm more happy to hold off on that trade and leave it for something else where I'm going to get more out of my fullbacks, or pick up a hole with a Fanua Blake or Tarpany if they sit out, so that I don't have to play the rubbish Sam Hughes scores that he gets.
Yeah. It's just a ceiling play.
That is fair enough. I think I'm in the Sam Walker camp then, and I'll be doing that trade as soon as Team List Tuesday is released tomorrow. Next up, the Cowboys, 42 points to 4, absolutely annihilating Ricky Stewart's Raiders, who have just crawled up into a hole and just said, leave us alone for the rest of the year, please. They're dead set giving up. That was pretty embarrassing considering their season was on the line. The Cowboys, though, they were running riot. They've got 4 players who scored over 100. So if you went all in with Cowboys, you're loving it for that week, but then you get to this week and you go, uh-oh, got the bye to deal with. So it was all fun and games last week, but now it's that huge headache. Val Holmes, 145. Goodness me, he just produces. I know people are spoken about how bad he's been this year and out of form, but Supercoach wise, he still scored. Like, he just finds ways to score. It's just, he's so consistent. I'm very, very keen to see how the Dragons plan to use him next year, because he could be one of the first that goes into my team. We don't want to talk next year too much, but he's like a fullback or something and gets his hands on the ball even more. Shut the gate. Shut the gate. Center wing, playing fullback.
Yeah. We'll be good.
Anyway, Jakey Clifford, if you somehow had him in your team, maybe your drafters out there, 128. What a score. Felt just, oh my goodness. Kyle Felt 113. Doesn't he like to score some points? He's been, I'd put him out there as the underrated GOAT this year. He has just not stopped.
A lot of goats getting around tonight.
Yeah.
He has been, it's honestly so good, and he just flies. So it's like him and Tupou have just been scoring bucket loads of tries and just getting completely disregarded this year.
I remember I looked at all the drafts that I was in. I'm in 3 this year. I think it was around like round 10. He was literally just sitting on the waiver still. Like, no one had touched him. And I'm thinking, what have we all missed here? Because he just kept scoring. He just kept doing it. I think everyone just in their head thought, nah, Felt will get dropped for Valemay any round now. It's all good. Just never happened. Drinky got another 100 as well, 102. So, and Dearden a nice 96. So I remember back right at the start of the year, we had Brown up against Dearden, sorry. And we all decided to go Brown. Dearden's now scoring some decent scores as well. Jesse, anything to talk about with this one? Hudson Young, from the Raiders' point of view, a nice 85. You'd be happy with that, considering they got absolutely belted. So
yeah, huge. Obviously, the big four and the Cows, massive. You lose them all this week. They've scored enough for 2 weeks, so they've done their job. Robson was pretty good as well with a 61, but yeah, Cotter, 21. That's pretty bad. I don't know exactly what happened. I didn't watch this game, but did he get injured or something? Did he play? What was the deal with the 21? It's pretty shocking.
He played. He just wasn't getting points.
Just nothing. That's what I thought.
He had a decent stint, if I remember correctly. I'm going to quickly bring it up. Keep talking, but I'm pretty sure he had a decent stint.
Honestly, the most impressive thing, obviously the Cows, they killed it, and they scored 38 more points. Yeah, there you go. So you expect the scores to be like that. But Hudson Young, against, scoring 4 points, he didn't have any attacking stats, shit ton of offloads, a lot of tackles, just a lot of base, a lot of just groundwork. Scored 85. And that's, that's 85. That's him normally scoring 2 tries, which he has been doing a lot recently too. So very happy with that. It drops off a cliff after there though. Tarpany 49. I suppose it's not exactly what you want, but Fogarty 43, better than last week. Just a lot of middling scores. God, they're not very good. Kyo Weeks with a 30, 29 from Strange. So they got belted. So it reflects in their scoring.
They did. Trav, you have anything to add to this one?
Nah, not really. I other than I'll take the 49 from Tarpany in a game they got flogged up in Queensland. So up in the top end, I'll take that. I'm a happy Robson owner this week with the 61, and we touched on everything else. You know that something's wrong when Clifford gets 128, and we've mentioned him 4 times in the last 5 minutes.
Madness.
Shout out to you, Clifford. I think you are the one game GOAT so far, Jakey Clifford. So you're
what a crazy average.
He's just the GOAT average, the GOAT average out there. What an absolute gun. And shout out to you, Chatty Townsend. I don't think you'll be back in a Cowboys jersey this year after that. So I think Clifford has just said, give me my jersey a bit early. Thank you. Tigers pushing to get off the bottom of the ladder, 18 points to 16. This was a tough watch, I'm not going to lie. I watched it for Supercoach purposes. And then I realized halfway through, I only had one player in it. I actually thought I had 2. I thought I had Cook and Gray. So I was cheering Gray on like a dog at the dog park at the Greyhounds, thinking, oh, here we go. looked at my score a bit later on, and I was like, hang on, I only have one player playing. I should just not even worry about it. But it is what it is. And he got a nice 90 that I missed out on. So that was Cookie, 93. Cam Murray, 98. Kaloa Matangi, 104. He's back. I doubted him last week. That's on me, guys. Sorry. Never doubt him. He came back through with the goods, and Galvin top scored for the Tigers an 85. A weird game because South scored better in terms of Supercoach wise, but they lost the match. So make of that what you will. They seem to be on the front foot a lot of that game, but Tigers held strong and got the victory. Trav, what do you want to talk about here?
Galvin's quietly becoming an elite 5'8", who I am looking more and more into starting next year. I'm Cook just keeps getting it done. For all these owners that went and got him, he had the form, he was doing it, he just keeps getting it done. Fingers crossed that he bloody plays the year out for you all, because you need him to. But yeah, just another 93 is just rad. That's a huge score. I'm unhappy that Cam Murray is putting up good scores. I want him to start putting lower scores down, because he's a flyer for me for next year in my 2RF. But yeah, that's a good score from him. The Kaloa Matangi, 104. Just, I think, we're sort of coming to expect him coming to expect him to put up big scores, and he's starting to do it, and he's been doing it for most of the year. He's been so consistent. I've been raving about him all year. Very disappointing score for the Appy Curacao players with a 36. That's about it for me in that game.
Yeah, I just laugh because I just keep thinking back to me and Jesse's conversation about Coruscant just being an emotional roller coaster this year for Supercoach owners. He'll give you some occasionally good scores, but we feel like majority of it's just going to be painful.
We all got sucked into Appy being a kicker this year. We all got sucked in.
I think me and Jesse were the only ones that were saying to everyone, don't get sucked in, and no one listens. So
no,
it's all good. It's all good. We'll cop it. We'll take it. Just talking about next year, we're starting to do this a bit more. If Peter Mamazelos isn't the most purchased player at the start of the year, I'm going to move to space. I'm all over him next year in the hooker. First hooker I'm getting him. Boom. Cheapy, 80 minutes, boss.
I already know who my two are next year. Lock them in.
Is Mamazelos one?
Starling. Done. Mamazelos, Starling, you'll have two hookers under 650. Don't worry about it. That's your hookers for the season. Yes. Starling. Scoring 90 every week almost and averaging 35. Baffle me.
That's
Mate,
which means he's not scoring 90 every week, Jesse.
Well, from the last 6 weeks he has. You got to look at the beginning of the season where he was scoring 2. It's really brought his average right down.
What sort of comment's that?
Because he was coming off the bench for 4 minutes. And he finally gets to start.
He's coming. He wants an argument tonight. So can you give it to him, please? Go. Just you two have a look
at the numbers. You go check the numbers out.
We'll do that later. We'll do that later. Mamazelos is a good shout out. The problem is, and I love it, and I'm actually got him as my rookie for next year too. I've written my team for next year, but that's sad. He's my bench option for the hooker, and my other one is currently going to be Brayley. I'm sick of spending up in these hooker spots.
Wasted too many trades. Horrible.
That shows you how exciting that game was, because we're talking about next year when we're talking about the players. Moving along, Dragons 32, Gold Coast 16. Dragons back into the 8. They seem to be going in and out each week for the 8 and out of the 8. Tough little patch I've just noticed that the Dragons have coming up. So it's going to be, this 8th spot is going to be a battle. I tell you what, there is some huge games coming up. For the Dragons, Lomax top scored. No surprises there, 95. Jacob Little, goodness me, you're the underrated GOAT. 93. Love having you in draft. I'll just give him more shout-outs, because even just NRL, he's been one of the underrated players of the year. He's been phenomenal for the Dragons. So credit to him, because I know the Tigers didn't want him, flicked him, and didn't rate him that much, and he's just gone to the Dragons. And well done to Flanagan. He's got the best out of another one there. Keeney, honestly, off the first kick receive, try, Bulls. See you later. 88. Like, all right, sets up a try, feeder in. Thought it was going to be one of those games. I was thinking, hang on, I'm glad I've kept Jaden Campbell, which he came through sort of in the end. But Fafita, stock standard 77. Jesse, what do you think about with this one?
Lomax is a gun. That's so bloody good. Just stoked to have him. You're pretty much expecting 90 points out of him almost every round now. It's really good. Some really good scores out of the Dragons, actually. Like, they did play the Titans, but like, you'll take an 80 from Hunt. I think Hunt's probably a bit of unspoken with the whole Cleary discussion, who to trade to. I think there's merit in Hunt, because they need to keep that spot, and they're going to have to keep playing really well. So if you're going that way, and there's not many people that would, I definitely wouldn't myself. It's risky business, but there's no reason not to. Like, he's scoring really well. Leilua's pretty good too. Piloto, like, they're all done well. Going down the ranks, there's really no one at the bottom that you'd have.
Stop.
Go on.
I'm going to call you out now. I'm going to fire up. You can't say, oh, I think Ben Hunt's a decent player. That all you're doing right there is saying that, so you can come back to us in a week's time or 2 weeks' time and go, oh, I called that. But deep down, you weren't even going to ever make the play, even if you could. Which you can because you have Nathan Cleary. So if you actually like the play so much, do it. Don't just say, oh, yeah, no, I think it's a good play. Mate, I know your little game now. You just call everything out thinking you're Nostradamus.
Well, you got to, broken clock's right twice a day. But, okay, they play the Sharks. It's going to be a huge game for them. Then they play Parramatta and then the Raiders. Like, he's got as much ground to consider in the discussion of trading Sam Walker as anyone. Like, there's no reason to not include him in the chat. It's just a very outside point of view for it. But he scored 80. Like, he scored 30 more points than Sam Walker did.
If you want to be classed as having the biggest balls here, you'll make that trade.
Ben Hunt.
I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, right. I'll have a think on it.
And I'll make a shirt. I'll do a shirt up that says Jesse has the biggest balls.
Just right. I have little balls and I'm here with big balls.
Done.
True.
I'll lock that in. You make that trade.
You get one that says hunting season and it's me holding up your head.
I'll do that. I'll lock that in. I'll get a shirt done up. There you go.
Done. Yeah.
I got to shut down. I got to shut down the Ben Hunt play, man. I don't even think you should even be thinking about it.
No?
Nah, not even.
These last 3 weeks are going to be massive. Like, you got to look at a 3-round for it.
But
it's like, who scores? No. Yeah. I think, you never know.
No.
It's just good ground for the Dragons.
No, you don't. No. You don't know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, hey.
True that.
His top scores, 118 and 128 against the Warriors and the West Tigers this year. He can do it. He can get the big scores. So
most people do against the Tigers.
That's what I mean. He's not versing the Tigers, is he?
No, not at all. For the Titans, quickly, Keeney is a weapon. Trav, you should have kept him. 2 months ago. Should have kept him. There's one for you.
This guy. Hang on. You're off your head tonight. You think you...
No need like that. Really. Look, it's very funny with the Titans. They either favor one side or the other. Like, they just don't really spread the love around too much. They went right again this time. Last week they didn't touch it. So, yeah, it's just a bit shit. And Jaden Campbell was a bit... I suppose without that try, he scores 30 points. Because it wasn't a very good one. I'm surprised they didn't call that a knock-on, but I'll take the points.
If I had one more trade, he'd be gone. If I had 2 trades, he's gone. God, he's spudded it up since we raved about how good he was as the top 5'8", and will play out for the rest of the year. And he's done nothing but show us potatoes.
Yeah, that one sucks. Better than Dylan Brown this week.
Yeah. That was coin chasing. For me. Oh, well. You win some, you lose more. Supercoach responsibly, everyone.
Perfect.
Trav, you got anything to touch on with this game?
No, nothing.
Didn't think
How
so.
cheap's Brimson going to be next year?
How cheap or how good is he going to be?
Cheap.
Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
even want to touch him. He literally just can't stay on the park.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm over him.
I don't think
Yeah.
he'll be as cheap as you. I reckon he'll be sitting around that 550 mark.
Averaging
He's not-
55.
He's not going to be as cheap as you think he's going to be, and yet
Damn.
the thing is, you're just not going to bloody like he's where. First of all, where are they going to play him? Because as you
Centre.
said, how bloody good is Keeney? And then even in the centres, I don't reckon Brimson's going to score that much.
No. What a shame.
Trap
It's nowhere
City,
for him.
you know what I mean? Beep. Trap City, beep. Last game, the Sharkies 19 defeating the Newcastle Knights 18. Golden Point thriller. They realised and remembered the rule about blocking the referees. So that got a bit controversial towards the end. Offside players, everything was happening. McInnes top scored for the Sharkies in a low scoring affair in terms of Supercoach, 78. Oregon Kafusi, look out, 75. Britton Nakora, a 74. I'll take that as an owner. And Mulatalo rushed back. It looked a bit suspect midway through that game. We got that knee injury, but he soldiered on. So good work to him there. For the Newcastle Knights, Dane Gagai, the shining light in this game, a 96, which was almost 20 points better than anyone in this game. So very, very good. You know what? I'm going to call it out. And you guys, this could start something because you both own him. I'm extremely disappointed in Kalen Ponga. I'm just going to say it. 70 points when you factor in the other fullbacks going around at the moment, what they're scoring and stuff. I would be very disappointed if I was a Ponga owner.
No. I'm not.
You
I'll
got
take a 70.
70.
Yeah, he's got 135 last week.
124 against the West Tigers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That's a
he doesn't
three-round
get the
average.
best of Tigers every
That's
week.
100
Everyone
that's
scores
100
against
every
the
week.
West Tigers.
That's all right. That's 100
Turbo's
each week.
doing it week in, week out.
That's all right. Turbo's, what, 300k dearer?
Teddy's doing it week in, week out.
Teddy's 350k dearer.
Mate, you don't know how to super coach.
No.
I'll call it out.
I
just wouldn't be happy with it.
No, it's not
am,
real.
I am disappointed that he got that 70, but bear in mind,
Thanks,
I brought
Trav.
him in the game after Penrith for this game against West Tigers. So he's done exactly what I wanted when he'd bottomed out in price. So he's done what I wanted him to do. Yeah, the 70 against the Sharks was a bit of a low play, but I also brought him in because I wanted him to play against the Rabbitohs, the Titans, and then the Dolphins. So, yeah. Whilst I'm disappointed in that 70, I got 124 last week, and I've got the rest, and the matchups coming up through the rest of this year. So I'm not incredibly disappointed.
I think that's
Well, I'll
his
give you
hardest
something-
game for the rest of the year. This one. That's just gone. So if that's the
Yeah,
lowest
but
score he
also
gets in the
wasn't
next
either.
month, that's fine.
Like, that should have been a game he grabbed by the throat and just controlled and took over. Like, the Sharks had no playmakers. I'd be very disappointed. They didn't have their star center at the moment either, who's just been smashing it as of late. Hot off the pressures then, but boys, you might have some big decisions on your hands. Kalen Ponga ruled out this week. So good luck. Good luck with that one. I just got the notification then.
Did you?
Really?
Oh,
Notification
boy.
then. So you
Where'd you
guys
see
have
that?
some decisions to make. Good luck.
Well, then that sort of justifies my whole view of not trading Cleary.
Nah, I'm only joking with you boys. It's all good. Just thought I'd have a bit of a
Here I
play
am,
around.
just like power scrolling in the chats. I'm like,
Well, no, because I'm
nowhere.
sitting there going, I've got money to go Ponga to Edwards. Hello.
Jeez, I'd be doing that. If I could do
I'll
that, I
do
would.
that.
So you actually went, I don't think I have to think about that too hard. I'm keeping
well.
Cleary.
My mind has been made up.
You guys have anything to talk about with this game? I thought it was pretty stock standard.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Pierce Paul finally gets his freaking try. Has to be the week that I play Sangster and he knocks me out of the head-to-head. How good's that? Lost by 2 because of freaking Pierce Paul's try.
Yeah.
So shit.
Hilarious.
Love your piece, Paul.
And Marzu comes back with a nice 74, so that was really good. He's a continue to keep playing the rest of this year.
Yeah.
How good was watching that Ponga cutout pass to him? I was like, take me back to last year's run. Oh,
I know. just feeding him points. I was just like that. I needed that this week.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. Do that for the rest of the year, please.
Yeah.
And just one last point is the Nicker of 74. He's just, he's a gun. Love it. Love the way he's been playing. He put up a couple of 40s recently, but it is what it is. Love that 74 from him too. And with the matchups they've got coming up, I'm pretty comfortable to keep playing him for the rest of this year.
Definitely.
That's pretty much it. Before we go, let's just do a quick little game here. Let's predict the trade we lock in this week, whether it is a trade or not, and we can look back on this on Wednesday night when we do the tradies and see if we've stuck true to ourselves or if things have changed. I'll be going the boring play of Cleary to Walker. I can't factor in changing that because Walker's run home and the fact that he'll play every week. Him and Tedesco together, I really like the look of that, so I'll be locking that trade in. Trav, what do you got? You thinking still no trades?
No trades. Yep, I'm going to hold that.
Can I say, I feel like that's burnt us a bit the last few weeks. I feel like whenever someone hasn't made a trade, they've had a poor score.
Let's find out this week.
There you go. You got 17 other players to be keeping you up. Well, one trade's not going to make you round unless you're trading in like Val Holmes this week or something. But
the only thing I might consider is because the bloody Cowboys have got to buy Robson, I have to bench Robson, which means I've got to freaking play Marnie, and he's on my dead list. So
it's not worth
you're not
using your last
trading
trade when you've got money there. Just cop it.
Yep.
We know you love him as well.
Oh, that dude's dead to me.
Damien Cook. He's been bloody fantastic. Man, I'll be looking at probably just going Cleary to Walker at this point, not overthinking it. I don't outthink the room. It is what it is. I like the run. I wanted Sam Walker last week for Jerome Hughes, and I didn't do it. And thank God I didn't. That would have been bloody horrible. But yeah, that'll kind of be it, I think.
I feel like you're the king of overthinking, though, so you definitely will be overthinking this week. So don't sell us false claims of you won't be doing any overthinking. You certainly will be. You'll be in the chat. You'll be in the chat bugging me and Trav going, oh, I can do this one and I can do this one. What do you think about this one?
They look good. But when's Nico back? Is he back this year?
That's he's back this year, but when he got injured, they said last round. So that's all I've heard since.
Damn,
they did say that.
Is it? If he was back next week, I'd hold the trade. And I'd wait next week. Just get Nico back.
If he was back this week, I wouldn't even be getting him in.
No, he's been pretty shit lately anyway.
Let down. Anyway, that's it. Be back for the Tuesday, the Wednesday, sorry. Tradie show, so get your questions in if you want to ask anything. It is that time of year where not much is coming through because if your team's out in head-to-heads, I feel like a lot of people are giving up. But there's out there that are still looking and have some trades and stuff. Get some questions in and we'll save them up and get them ready for the show. But thank you. As always, make sure you like the page on all the social medias and everything like that. The YouTube page, subscribe, podcast, hit that, rate us as well. If you're listening on either Apple or Spotify, it does go a long way helping promote the page. So make sure you give us a rating out of 5. Obviously, you want to give us a 5 because we're the best. So give us the best. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. It's okay if you disagree with me. It was great to have you on tonight.
Can't force you to be right,
also
mate.
Known as.
We got there. We got there in the end. We spent about half the episode talking about Nathan Cleary, but that was fantastic. So thank you, boys and girls, for listening. We will catch you on Wednesday.